Okay, so our face primer has had plenty of time to soak up. We should be ready to get this show on the road. I always start with my concealer. I do a technique called underpainting. It's just easier for me. It's because I'm the kind of person when I put on makeup, yeah, I just kind of slap it on and then I fix it afterwards. So I'm going to be using Lancome, and I love this stuff. It is a great formula. The one piece of advice that I would give you is use sparingly. If you put too much of this stuff on, it is going to make those fine lines so much worse, okay? So we're just gonna, and I always wipe off the doe foot. Okay, so I'm just gonna go right here, put a little piece of color, and I'm doing it below that little line right there. You know how, like, right here is your orbital ridge on the bottom? I'm doing it down from that, okay? And then I'm just going to put another one right there, and one there, and one there. Okay, now it's time for a really fun hack. I love this. Okay, so I apply my, all of my contour, highlight, concealer, all of that with a sponge. That just works better for me. And as I've said before, I cannot stand the fine lines under my eyes. So I'm always looking for a new technique to really get that done. And I came across one another creator does, and basically you have your damp sponge, you have your setting spray for your makeup, okay? And this one is called One Size, and it's On Till Dawn Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray. What I do is I just give that a good shake. Okay, and I'm just gonna give that a good spray. Okay, shake it off a little bit, and now just gotta tap. And I don't go up to that crease line right away. I just kind of gently start building up to it. And I take it all the way to my lash line. The nice part is when you do it this way, see how it kind of cleans up that little area right there? It's nice. It cleans it up without you even trying. So you can see not a bunch of creases. Okay, let's go in to the other side. And again, don't go all the way up to that lower lash line right away. Just kind of tap it in and work your way up there. Because this part of your face does not need a ton of product. If you put on too much concealer here, it's just gonna make those fine lines and wrinkles worse. And we do not want to do that. Okay. And then, yeah, just kind of cleaning up that little edge right there. Okay, great. Now that we've got that done, we are going to move on to the underpainting technique, and I will show you guys what I mean by that. Okay, so I'm just using the same concealer, and what I do, wipe off the doe foot a little bit, okay? I always just put a little line right here, and just one right there, slap some on the outer upper portion of the cheekbone, and for me, the most important place for this is right here. And these are your nasolabial folds, smile lines. Okay, everybody has them. The reason I do this is because it will decrease the look of a shadow right there. And if you decrease the shadow, it will give a youthful appearance. Okay, and then just a teeny tiny bit right here, and some up there. Okay. And I'm just gonna do the same thing, setting spray, sponge, give it a spray. Okay, And I'm actually going to start with my forehead because that dries out a lot really quickly. Okay, now that we've got that, let's move over here. Now we're not completely blending this in. We are seriously just softening the edges. With underpainting, if you blend it in too much, it's going to disappear under the foundation. Okay, and then I just do a straight up tapping motion right there. Okay, and then get in there, make sure that's all nice and blended. Okay. Again, just remember, we're not completely blending this away, okay? We're just softening all those edges. Okay, now that we got that done, let's talk about contour, okay? Now, I love this stuff by Mario. I got mine at Sephora. It is this awesome stick, which is great because this is going to help you so much with placement. I know a lot of people really struggle with where do I put my contour, how do I do it, whatnot. The shape of this and the container that it's in, that is half the battle right there. It is going to help you so much. Okay, so I always start with my cheeks. Now you can see there's a natural shadow right there. Okay, so that is where my natural contour is. So I go from the top of the ear, and I just use the edge of that and come down, and I just give it a little curve like that. Okay, so that's my natural shadow line. Okay, and then bring it down just a little bit for a little bit of sculpting. Same over here, and you need to be looking straight on in the mirror when you do this because you need to find that natural shadow, okay? I always bring mine down some. There we go. Okay, and then I do a little line right there. And then we're going to use the edge of the stick to put our contour line on our nose. Okay, and I like to put just like a little bit right there and then a little V shape right here. That makes my nose up here just a little bit less like bulbous. I hate that word, but it is what it is. All right, now here is the hardest part for a lot of people. When you are putting contour right here, there's a certain way you want to do it. You want to use the natural shape of your face, and that is another huge advantage of using this. What you do is you just hold it straight up and down, and find where your jaw is, okay? And then if you hold it straight up and down, you're gonna go down to your chin like this. Okay, now by doing it that way, you are getting your contour in the natural spot where it needs to be. So that is the greatest thing about this little guy. Now this comes with a nice little brush. I like to use the brush on the contouring because, again, we're not trying to blend this all the way in. We're just trying to soften the edges. So I just do some tapping and soften that right up. See, and that's almost too much blending because you can see it's kind of going away. But just tap it in there. Yes, I'm fully aware that I say tap it in just like Happy Gilmore. I'm fully aware. I'm trying not to do it. Okay. All right, now it looks crazy right now because we haven't put foundation on top of it, but just hang tight. Okay, Now this part, this is where it's okay to do that scrubbing motion. Down here, you don't need to pat. I kind of just give it a pat like this, and then I start doing this. And there, now we have like just this very natural shadow line. And I like to bring mine down like this because that way I pretty much guarantee that I don't have like this massive spot somewhere. Okay, now as for the contouring up here, I use my fingers for this. I know a lot of people use like a tiny little brush. This works better for me. I just take it and kind of very lightly blend these guys in. And again, it looks crazy because we don't have our foundation on yet, but I promise you, trust the process. It's gonna be okay. You can already see this changes the shape of my nose a bit. So it just looks a little smaller, and I think it looks a little cuter, if I do say so myself. All right, there we go. Okay, we now have our highlight, contour, concealer, all that stuff on. Now we're gonna move on to foundation. Be right back.